So, be the change that you wish to see in the world, said Mahatma Gandhi, the father of our nation. A very good afternoon to the jury members, the organizers, and all my dear friends. Today, I, Sakshi Thakkar, am going to speak on the topic, an evaluation of the non-violent movements initiated at the global level in the post-Gandhian period. I would start by casting some light on Gandhian philosophy. So it is basically the set of social and religious ideas adopted and developed by Gandhiji, first during his time in South Africa from 1893 to 1914, and later, of course, in India. So the twin cardinal principle on which Gandhiji's thought worked was truth and non-violence. And this also brings me to the topic of Satyagraha, which literally means firmly holding on to truth. This concept was coined by Mahatma Gandhi in the early 20th century. Now, the Indian independence movement may have experienced the heyday of Gandhiji's nonviolent action, but the ripples it left behind touched various nations and influenced varied ideologies. There have been several experiences of successful satyagrahas in the past 50 years. Gandhiji inspired people all over the world, including civil rights activists in America. And one of the most famous people inspired was Martin Luther King Jr. King connected Gandhiji's words and philosophy to that of Jesus. In Bible, Jesus tells to love your enemies, and King thought this idea operating through Gandhian nonviolent action. So he was already accustomed and he was already familiar with the idea of peaceful protest, but he did not find a practical use of it until he became involved in Montgomery bus boycott of 1955 and 1956. So there was bus segregation, segregation in buses in Montgomery, Alabama, wherein African Americans were forced to ride on the back of the bus. Now, this was, of course, totally unjust for African Americans. So King and his fellow friends and supporters, they organized, boycott of the buses and for 1955 and 1956. And finally, in 1956, Supreme Court ruled that Montgomery segregation of bus was totally unconstitutional. And after that, shortly afterwards, when King was addressing a crowd in New York City, he told that Jesus told us the way. Jesus showed us the way, but Gandhi in India showed us that it could work. Such was the influence of Gandhiji. The second instance I'm going to discuss about is the Bhudan movement, which was initiated in 1951 and which was, of course, led by Vinoba Bhave. And this was basically a voluntarily land reform movement in India, wherein the wealthy landowners, they were persuaded to give a portion or a percentage of their land to the landless people. And it was also successful to a great extent. Then I would like to talk about Nelson Mandela. So when Nelson Mandela was awarded Nobel Peace Prize in 1993, he credited his success to Mahatma Gandhi. He was deeply inspired by India's freedom struggle and, of course, Gandhiji's philosophy. On the occasion of the inauguration of Gandhi Memorial in South Africa, he told that Mahatma Gandhi is an integral part of South Africa's history because it is here that he first experimented with truth. Here that he first demonstrated his characteristic firmness in pursuit of justice. Here that he first developed Satyagraha as a philosophy and a method of struggle. Nelson Mandela was also awarded Bharat Ratna in 1990, and he was the first non-Indian to be awarded India's highest civilian honor. Another instance which I'm going to talk about is the Hawaiian Democratic Revolution of 1954. So it is basically a term used for the territorial election in which the long dominance of the Hawaiian Republican Party was brought to an abrupt end and replaced by the Hawaiian Democratic Party in 1954. Now, this shift was preceded by general protests, acts of civil disobedience, and peaceful protests. So basically, they used non-violence to just, bring this shift from the Republican Party to the Democratic Party. So at the end, I would just like to conclude my speech with a quote which goes like, if we stand tall today, it is because we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors. Thank you.